Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome each of you to the annual State of the Institution address here at Bridgemont. Thank you for coming. I'd like to spend a little bit of time today on our theme for the year, Local College National Recognition. I hope that you've seen this tagline as you've gone down the highway on some of our billboards and on some of our brochures. We're very proud of that tagline, and in particular because of one national award that we received over the past year. Bridgemont was named a College of Excellence by the Aspen Institute, and that put us in the top 10% of national community colleges across the nation. This recognition was based on our IPEDS data on our excellent retention and graduation rates. So this is something of which we are indeed proud. Also this year, once again, we were named a military-friendly institution, showing that we do pay attention to the needs of our veterans. So I hope that you will all think of those areas of excellence as you talk with people around you. Today's address will talk about 4 areas and the state of the institution in those 4 areas. The first of those areas is the area of facilities. As you know, we labeled this year the year of extreme makeovers, and indeed it has been that kind of year. We are currently in the midst of 4 major projects with our facilities here at Bridgemont. We are undergoing a $4.7 million renovation to Davis Hall, our primary headquarters here in Montgomery, as a result of a community college bond allocation. We are also undergoing a $350,000 renovation to South Charleston and the building 704 that is in the Tech Park. We are a part of a collaborative with the Advanced Technology Center to be built in that same Tech Park, and we're undergoing a master planning project for both the Montgomery and South Charleston campuses. I have here a schematic of Davis Hall, the outside of what Davis Hall is to look like upon completion of our bond project. And you'll notice that we have all new windows, making us much more energy efficient, and a new entryway. But the majority of the work, to be honest, is going on inside this building, with every electrical wire and every ceiling and every light being replaced, a lot of new mechanical systems, ADA compliance, and auditorium renovations in Davis Hall. It's expected that we will move back into the lobby and second floor mezzanine offices over spring break. And our project, while slated to be completed in May, may take a little longer, unfortunately, as our auditorium chairs may not be delivered until July. And our window schedule is slightly behind. So I ask for your patience as we work with the contractors and the suppliers for these important parts of our project. There is good news that some of the new classroom furniture will begin being delivered actually next Monday, so please be mindful of that. At South Charleston on the Tech Park, as you know, we are one of the new tenants at the Tech Park and are pleased to be in the former maintenance building, building 704 at that park. We unfortunately had to take a little fall break and get some code issues cleared up within that building, because as you convert from an industrial site to a classroom site, there are different codes from the fire marshal's office. But good news is that on January 9th, we were able to open that facility and begin our diesel technology cohort and start a cohort of students on an express kind of schedule, completing a 24-month program in 15 months. The picture before you does show the external drawings for Building 704, or what we are now calling our Bridgemont Technology Center. And future funding is something that we're looking for to complete the drawings and have this building be on the same kind of exterior look as our Advanced Technology Center, which you'll see in just a few minutes. But basically, this past fall, what happened in Building 704 was that the work bay was repainted, the flooring was replaced, and several walls were torn down. A new space was made available that will eventually be offices, but currently is a classroom at this point in time. Here is a rendering that was just completed this past week of the Advantage Valley Advanced Technology Center. This will be directly across from our Bridgemont Technology Center, and we will be a partner in this building with Kanawha Valley Community and Technical College and Mount West. But we will have part of our electromechanical instrumentation courses here, our cybersecurity, and many of our classes video conference between Montgomery and Charleston. This building should be finished in about 18 to 24 months, so we're looking forward to occupying this brand new facility. And the fourth project that we have been involved in with facilities is the master planning process over the past few months. Every college in the state is required to have a physical facilities master plan, and ZMM Architects won the RFP to prepare our master plan for us. You'll see here the renderings of a 10-year proposed master plan for our Montgomery campus. Now this will take 5 to 10 years. This will not happen overnight, but what we hope to do over the next 5 years is to complete the first frontal area of that master plan, where we would add a student support building and some classrooms and offices near Davis Hall. And 10 years down the road, perhaps we will try to complete the back part of the plan with parking and future buildings based on demand at the time. This plan will be presented to the public. It was presented last week to faculty, staff, and students, and will be presented one more time to the community as a whole. And we will follow a similar process for the South Charleston campus. A focus group is being formed now to prepare the same kind of document and provide information for that site. So we will, by the end of June, have the master planning complete for both South Charleston and Montgomery. A lot going on in our facilities area. But let's talk a little bit about enrollment. This pie chart gives you an example of where our students are, what types of students we're serving, what majors those students have entered into. And as you'll notice, the engineering technology and applied technology really compose the majority of our student population. And if you'll look at the non-degree section, the darker gray section, you'll see that we're serving more and more special students. Those could be students from our high schools, our early enrollment courses, our workforce development courses that are for credit, and those types of students. And traditionally, we've not served a lot in that segment, but as we become a more open community college and work with different partners, you'll see that that segment has grown quite a bit. Here are some demographics for our fall head count that I thought you might be interested in. If we look at our full-time versus part-time students, we've had a total of 1,017 students this fall. We met our goal of 1,000 students. And of those 1,017 students, 487 were full-time and 530 were part-time. Now, this has shown a shift from previous years. Again, as we have become more of a traditional community college, we're serving more part-time students than full-time, which was not the case in 2004 when we became a separate institution. Notice our increase of part-time students was over 21%. Also, if we look at gender, our male population exceeds our female population. 56.9% of our students are male, and that is an increase of 15.3%. We traditionally have had more male students than female students here at Bridgemont because of our program mix with the engineering and applied technologies, and this continues to be the case. If we look at residents, the majority of our students are from in-state in West Virginia, 980 of them, as a matter of fact, or 96.4%. But we have increased the number of out-of-state students by 3.6%. We're up to 37 out-of-state students now. When we look at age, as you know, we have been encouraged to look at the adult population from the state level and the national level. And you'll see that our students that are 25 and above, and we typically categorize those students as non-traditional students, make up 457 of our students are 25 and above. And our traditional age students, while still the majority, are actually not as great a majority as in years past. We have 560 students 24 and under. So as you can see from these statistics, we are serving more part-time students and more adult students than in years past. Here's some comparison data with other community colleges across the state. There are 10 community colleges total in our system, and we were just provided data at a meeting last week that I thought might be of interest to you. That data looked at the 6-year change in annualized headcount. That's what AHC stands for, annualized headcount. What's the percentage of change from fall to fall? And what we have found is that Bridgemont actually ranked 3rd in the state with an increase of 44.1% in annualized headcount. That's a tremendous growth over the past 6 years. The data also gave us information on annualized FTE change. Now, as you know, FTE is for full-time equivalent student, and it takes 15 hours to make 1 FTE. So we ranked 7th in the state in the increase in number of annualized FTE students. We increased 9.9%. As you can see, that increase is not as significant as the annualized headcount, again indicating our growth in the part-time student who's taking fewer than 15 hours. When we look at just the fall enrollment in 2011, we are the 9th largest community college. As I said earlier, we had 1,017 students this fall. So we have a lot of room to grow. We want to increase that and become the 4th or 5th largest community college in the state. And our fall FTE, again, we're 9th out of 10 in the state system. We had a slight decrease in FTE this past fall. But one really interesting statistic that I think you would find amazing is that our students, remember we said we had a lot of in-state students, 96% I believe, but those students come from 47 of the 55 counties in the state, 47 of the 55. We are 2nd in the 10 community college state system of serving the broad range of county populations in the state. So that's a statistic I hope that you'll remember. We're serving 47 out of 55 counties, and that's due in part to our online presence with our highways program, our unique program mix, having programs that not many other community colleges have in the state, like our engineering technologies. Now let's go to the area of financial help. I am so pleased to report that for the second year in a row, our second audit as Bridgemont, we have an unqualified audit. Deloitte & Touche actually reported to our board meeting last week the results of our audit for last year, and our Financial Affairs Office is certainly to be commended for the work they've done in attaining this unqualified audit. Thank you. When we look at state comparisons financially, we have work to do in building our finances. As you can see from this list, we are 10th in the state with the amount of reserves in place, and that really is the result of our receiving no reserves when we became a separate institution. We have a number of days cash ratio, 86 days, that's 7th in the state. The range throughout the system went from 62 days to 256 days. So we really want to work on improving that number of days of cash. That figure basically says that if you were to lose all funding right now, how many days could you operate? That is a very important financial viability ratio. So we are working on that, and with your attention to budget monitoring, we're making progress in that area. And as I'm moving sort of up this list, I do want to mention the Composite Financial Index. You're hearing in the news a lot about OPEB, which is Other Post-Employment Benefits. Our legislature is talking about backfilling the OPEB liability, and that would be very significant for us financially. I just wanted to show you this index that we have with the OPEB liability booked in our accounting system. Our composite index is 0.39, but without that, it's very strong at 3.51. So I gave that to you just so that you would have some sense of this great OPEB liability and what that might mean as you're reading legislation as it proceeds through the House and the Senate. I'm pleased to say that at our January board meeting, the Financial Affairs Office did report on year-to-date budget, and we are on target. Our revenues and our expenditures as of December 30th are right on target with our projected budget for the year, and I want to thank each of you for working so hard in increasing revenue and decreasing expenses. That's what it takes as we build our institution financially. Let's talk a little about organizational development. This organizational chart is provided simply because we looked at it last fall as we came back, and that is a very busy time. And I just wanted you to have this sense of how we reorganized after our May retreat last year, and our leadership went through multiple iterations of how we should organize to better carry out our mission. This was the final outcome with 2 vice presidents and several deans to help with different areas of the institution. With this chart, we are poised to be able to carry out our mission in a much more successful way. So I'm pleased with the work that you did on this, and this organizational structure does help us prepare for future growth. And by the way, we certainly have grown. From 2004, when just as we became a separate institution, we had 27 full-time employees, and we actually had tech and WVU doing a lot of our administrative work. And we have grown to 78 full-time employees over the past 8 years, and are really progressing with refining our systems and our academic programs. There is much work to do, of course. With this expansive growth, we have a lot of a lot of challenges, but we also have a lot of opportunities. And I want to take just a minute to talk a little bit about those. One of our challenges is that C word called competition. We are the only community college within the system that does not have one county that only we serve. Every county of our 5-county service district is shared with another community college. Nicholas and Raleigh is shared with New River, as well as Fayette, and Kanawha and Clay is shared with Kanawha Valley. So that competition is there. We do have some agreements in place to work with each other, but not only are those 2 community colleges sharing part of a district, there are many other baccalaureate institutions, both public and private, and proprietary schools within those 5 counties. So that's always indeed a challenge. But I think that, as you can see from our numbers and our growth, people are understanding the competitive advantage that Bridgemont does have with our program mix and our people. Another challenge, of course, is the completion agenda. We signed that completion agenda at the state and federal level. It is so important for our state and our nation that the students that we do serve finish their education. As you know, West Virginia has the lowest rate among states of individuals with a college degree. And our challenge is to make sure students get in the right program for them, to tutor them and help them get through and attain a degree, and eventually, of course, get a good job. So that completion agenda is very, very important, and as we all know, life gets in the way sometimes with some of our students, and it's very difficult, but we need to provide additional support and help as students encounter barriers. Another challenge that I think we'll see in the future more than right now is the financial aid. Several changes are being proposed at the federal level that you'll hear more about, and we are concerned with how that will affect our students and our student population. Revenue, always having enough money, is consistently a challenge. It has been for many, many years, not even as part of the baccalaureate system. And of course, our revenue comes from tuition and fees, and it comes from state appropriations. We have one of the lowest state appropriations among the 10 community colleges. And our tuition and fees are relatively high because of our program mix, the engineering technologies, and the high-cost, high-demand programs. But we have committed in our strategic plan to limit tuition and fee increases to no more than 5% over a 5-year period. So far, we have been able to meet that commitment. The past 2 years saw no tuition and fee increases for our general student population, and we're very proud of that. And of course, challenges, another challenge is that just having enough time to get everything done that we need to do has become a challenge because we're all wearing different hats. So many of you have willingly taken on new roles, and we're learning new processes and procedures. That takes time until we are acclimated to those processes and procedures and new responsibilities. And I appreciate all of you being willing to take on new roles and responsibilities and the time you're spending to get those responsibilities taken care of. And as we grow, as you saw by the organizational chart, as we grow, we do need to make sure that our communication flow is appropriate and that everyone within the organization has the sense of how and when things are happening. So communication is the key. I did have this graph made just to give you an idea of how rules and policies are created over the past few years, since 2009, and we changed our name to Bridgemont and have our own board. You have seen just an amazing number of Board of Governors rules and operating policies come across your desk. But that's essential as we lay the foundation for this new institution. Our Board of Governors is made up of 9 lay members and a faculty, staff, and student representative, and their job is to actually govern this institution. And there are many rules that they must promulgate based on statewide legislative mandates or rules from the community and technical college system. So when you see a new rule come across your email, it says BOG rule, it means that rule has been mandated to us to set out a policy. Those policies and rules are out for a 30-day comment period, and I hope that you take the time to look at those as they come across your desk and express any comments that you might have as the comment period is used up. Now, our cabinet, which are my direct reports, does create what we call operating policies. Many of the rules that you'll see from the board do require specific procedures to be put in place by the institution to make sure those rules are followed. So that's the role of the cabinet, but as you will see, cabinet can receive procedural rules and policies from other entities. The leadership team is made up of the cabinet plus all of the deans and a representative from Staff Council, Faculty Assembly, and SGA, the Student Government Association. And that group can create and or comment on operating policy. And as we look at the Dean's Council, the deans work directly with the chairs, and the chairs work directly with the staff and faculty within their units. So this is the flow of communication that as we have expanded and changed our organizational chart that we want to occur, that policies or discussion can start at either the faculty and staff level and work their way up, or at the cabinet level and work their way through the system. So I just wanted to share that with you because it is a little confusing as we've changed our organizational structure. So what are some of our opportunities? Well, there are many, I will tell you. Dr. Mallory and I just came from a visit in Washington, D.C., a National Science Foundation workshop, and we are being encouraged to apply for some STEM grants, science, technology, engineering, and math. The first one, the STEM grant, which is designed to give scholarships to students majoring in STEM programs. We'll probably start off with a proposal for that and hopefully work our way up in the federal grant level to an advanced technology education grant and an upward bound grant to help with our student support services. But our first step, I think, is the STEM so that we can get our feet wet in the federal grant system. Statewide, there's a Veterans Initiative going on, and we are a part of that. We are working with the folks at the state level who are reviewing transcripts of veterans and helping us determine appropriate credit for the work that they've done while serving in the military. We're excited about a virtual community and technical college that's being established. Parkersburg is the host institution for that, and we're working with that statewide initiative to get our courses that are online a part of that virtual CTC, and our students having access to other online courses that we have not yet developed, but may have been developed by other colleges. There's a bill out right now, Senate Bill 436, that gives us more guidance in the collaborative completion arena, working more closely with the post-secondary career technical center programs, just as we do with Carver and our respiratory therapy and our vet tech programs. This bill, if passed, will really enhance that partnership with our career technical centers. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens to that. And another new opportunity that's just barely a year old is the Learn and Earn program. The first of those programs was introduced, I think, last week, whereby state grant funding under the House Bill 3009 grant program can be used to assist employers in paying for internships. If an employer pays half of an internship, we can get state grant funds to pay the other half. So we're trying to encourage more internships with our industry partners through that program. And I do want to touch just a bit on our strategic plan and our mission. As you know, every May we sit down and look at our goals from the previous year and those that we've set for the next 5 years. And we look at activities that we've performed and accomplishments, and we also revise some of those activities and strategies in that May retreat that we have. But today I wanted just to take a quick look, rather than going through that very long and extensive chart, of the 3 words in our name and just give you a few brief examples of what we're doing this year to meet our mission. Let's take the word community in Community and Technical College. What are we doing with our community? Well, one of the major things that we're working on is the Boy Scout project in Fayette County, the Education and Training Committee. We are looking at developing hospitality and diversity programming for our retailers across the region so that they will be ready for the Boy Scout Jamboree, which will be here in 2013 and every 4 years thereafter, with this new high adventure park in Fayette County. So that is a huge project, an economic development project, and we are a part of that. We are ramping up our continuing education courses for the citizens of Montgomery and the surrounding region. We're pleased with the schedules that's coming forth. That area we had not focused on a lot as we became a separate institution. But traditionally, our dental clinic, as you know, has been a tremendous community resource. I'm not sure that you're aware that that dental clinic serves over 700 patients a year, 700 patients a year, with free dental cleanings, x-rays, and sealants. That is an amazing community service. We're working with the Service Learning Project, Campus Compact, and trying to match what our students can do with projects in different regions of the state, such as watershed associations, the Boy Scout project, trying to match up the skills of our students to perform community service. We work closely with Tech and the city. Mrs. Long, Carolyn Long, and I and Mayor Higgins are meeting weekly to talk about partnerships among the 3 entities, Bridgemont, Tech, and the city. This alliance began last year and is continuing with the change of leadership at Tech, and it's a very important dialogue that we continue to have. We're also a partner and hope to get more information soon on the KRT Express bus. There is a plan to develop a route from the Canal City Mall to Montgomery Express, and we are preparing to write a support letter for that Kanawha County Commission project. And of course, many of you sitting here today are on different educational boards, different economic development boards, and your influence and your participation in those different boards is critical to our outreach to the community. Okay, so that's a little bit about community. Now what about technical in our name? Well, technical is what we're all about, correct? Some of the more recent technical projects that we're working on relate to the oil and gas industry. I think Earl Wadowich and Matt Ernest and others have been working with the oil and gas industry to determine the need for an oil and gas exploration program. We are working closely with the West Virginia Coal Association and determining whether or not additional options in some of our manufacturing or engineering technology programs need to be prepared to address the shortage of people working with them. Another exciting new adventure is the Toyota partnership. With our South Charleston site, we are able to enter into a partnership with Toyota similar to the one they have in Kentucky, in Georgetown, and we'll be designing a curriculum with them for a cohort of students to come through our South Charleston site. And our Sustainability Institute continues to draw attention from many technical industry partners as well as those who are interested in green technologies in building, and that's become very successful. And most recently, one of the things that we were called to be a part of was the Kanawha Converts project. The Kanawha County Commission actually called us in right before Christmas to see if we would be the educational lead on a project to look at the feasibility of the fleets within Kanawha County to convert to compressed natural gas. So that's an exciting opportunity for us to serve our community in a technical way. But I think that, of course, the major thrust of what we think about when we hear college is that last word in our name, Community and Technical College. What is a college? Well, college is all about learning, isn't it? And our quality faculty help that learning occur, whether it's in online classes or off-site at our South Charleston campus or at an industry site or right here on the Montgomery campus. So learning can occur anywhere and anytime, and we have the quality faculty to make that happen. Our graduation rates and our placement rates are tremendous, and that's because we do emphasize learning. Student effort is something that we all look at and determine, and we want our classes to be engaging. We want our laboratories to be engaging, and many of the national surveys that our students have completed, such as the CESI, have indicated that that is the strength of Bridgemont, our engaging, hands-on kinds of classes and laboratories. So keep up the good work. Some of our college initiatives that are occurring right now is the virtualization project. Our IT department is working to virtualize all of our computers in our laboratories. And our DegreeWorks initiative is really about Banner and getting our pattern sheets scripted into Banner so that the student can go in to the bridge and look at where they are in their program and what courses are needed to complete the degree automatically. It's almost like an automatic graduation check. So that's an exciting initiative going on right now. And of course, we are looking, as I said, at new academic programs, at revising current academic programs, as we always do with our industry partners, to make sure that they are relevant. So what is our focus from this community and technical college? Well, as just a reminder, our strategic plan that we all have worked on over the past few years has 5 major areas of focus. And the #1 focus is student success. That's what we're about, as we said, as a college, student success. We want to promote student engagement, whether in class or out of class in our academic clubs. We want to emphasize retention and graduation by giving the students the support they need in our student support services, our tutoring. And of course, we're looking at developmental education and how that affects our students and their retention and graduation as well. There's actually a statewide initiative that Ms. Breeden and Ms. Lopez are a part of that is focusing on best practices for developmental education. So student success is key. But of course, so is our faculty and staff success. Professional development is critical to keeping you up to date with the skills in your profession. We encourage attendance at training sessions and national conferences so that you can keep up to date on the latest technologies and skills within your discipline. And also, as noted earlier this week, there will be a Leadership Academy that we will host beginning in March. I hope many of you will be a part of that and can take at least one of the 3 mini courses in our leadership development. We want to develop every one of you into a potential leader here at this college. You all have the talent in certain areas, and we want to give you the opportunity to develop those talents as time moves forward. So please take a look at that Leadership Academy. And we've talked most of this discussion has been on our institutional success. You've heard where we are, the state of the institution with our enrollment. One area that is a growth area that we are focusing on is extended learning. Dean Fox has the responsibility of looking at more early enrollment courses and more online courses, and we will grow in those areas as well as on campus. Of course, we're always looking for more resources like the grants that I mentioned. We have established a foundation for Bridgemont, and it's very successful in its first year, and more scholarships are being set up. More employees are contributing through the payroll deduction plan. So we're very pleased with the progress on our resources. And we are living the infrastructure changes and changes to our learning environment every day through the 4 facilities projects that I mentioned earlier. So we're definitely meeting these different categories in our strategic plan. The other 2 pieces of our strategic plan relate to community and industry engagement, and I have spoken to some of those activities a little earlier, and sustainable practices, whether it's with the Sustainability Institute or serving on the Sustainability Council. All of those are important, but also the sustainability that comes from increased efficiencies, increased attention to expenditures, increased effective time management. All of that contributes to sustainability. And you are all working very, very hard on that, and you are to be commended. So I thank you for that. No matter how many areas in the strategic plan we have, I think we all agree that everything centers around student learning and completion. That is our #1 priority. Faculty, you have a tremendous responsibility and opportunity in the classroom and outside the classroom for student learning to occur and completion to occur. Administration and staff, you may not be in that classroom, but every day you come in contact with our students. And sometimes what you say can make a difference in whether or not a student will persist at our institution. So we are all critically involved in student learning and student completion. And I just wanted to emphasize that to each and every one of you. Our mantra has been over the past few years, we are student-centered and we are solution-focused. I hope that from these remarks today, you can understand the breadth of our mission, but also understand that we cannot forget that we are, first of all, student-centered. When there are issues or problems, we are a team that is solution-focused. That's what I love about Bridgemont's faculty and staff. When something comes up, we get together as a team and say, how do we fix this problem? That's why we're showing growth. That's why we are building this institution and building it quickly and strongly and in the right direction. That's how we are bridging the gap for our students and getting them ready for a career, and we are broadening their outlook on life as well as our own as we become this viable, healthy institution. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate the fact that you're here, and I have taken part in this annual State of the Institution address.